Hello students, in this video we go for the discussion about the general principles of inorganic qualitative analysis part 2. In this that means in this video now we are going to discuss about the principles and the equations involved in the analysis of the cations. So first of all we have to know that depending on the solubility product, these cations are classified into different groups. And each group has its own reagent, and it forms a certain category of the precipitates. For example, in the first group we have the Ag plus silver ion, mercurous ion, Hg2 plus 2 ion, and plumbous ion, Pb plus 2 ions. And the group reagent is the dilute HCl, and all the first group cations are precipitated as their chlorides: silver chloride, mercurous chloride, and plumbous chloride. That means lead 2 chloride. All these chlorides have the white color. And in the second group we have the different cations, and all these are classified into two categories: 2A and 2B. 2A and 2B. In 2A we have the cupric ion Cu plus 2, cadmium Cd plus 2, mercuric ion Hgt plus 2, Hg plus 2, plumbous Pb plus 2, and bismuth plus 3 ions. And whereas in the group 2B we have the stannous Sn plus 2, stannous Sn plus 2, stannic Sn plus 4, antimony plus 3, and antimony plus 5, arsenous As plus 3, and As plus 5, arsenic. So we can call Sb plus 3 as antimonos and Sb plus 5 as antimonic ions, and As plus 3 and As plus 5 ions, arsenous and arsenic ions. And the group reagent is the mixture of the dilute HCl and H2S gas. Here, second group cations are precipitated as their sulfides. Here, all sulfides except the cadmium sulfide and bismuth sulfide and tin sulfide are black in color. Bismuth sulfide is brown in color, and cadmium sulfide has yellow color. Here bismuth sulfide color can be easily remembered with an acronym B for bismuth and B for brown. With that shortcut we can easily remember. And we go for the third group cations. In the third group we have the ferric Fe plus 3, aluminium Al plus 3, and Cr plus 3 ions. And the group reagent is the mixture of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. First group cations are precipitated as their chlorides. Second group cations are precipitated as their sulfides. Third group cations are precipitated as their hydroxides. And now we go for the fourth group cations. In the fourth group we have the cobalt, nickel, manganese, and zinc ions. CO plus 2, Na plus 2, Mn plus 2, manganese, and zinc, CO plus 2 ion, Zn plus 2 ions. CO plus 2 is known as cobaltous ion, cobaltous, nickel, and manganese, and zinc ions. And the group reagent is a mixture of the ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide, and H2S gas. In the second group as well as in the fourth group we are using the H2S gas. The here in the fourth group cations are also precipitated as their sulfides. Cobalt and nickel sulfides have the black color, zinc sulfide has the white color, manganese sulfide has the flesh color. So second group and fourth group cations are precipitated as the sulfides, but in the during the second group test we don't get the fourth group cations test, because the solubility product of the fourth group cations is very high compared to the second group cations. So during the test for the second group cations we don't get the fourth group sulfides. Fourth group cations as the sulfides. And using the phenomenon common ion effect, the solubility product of H2S is increased by using the ammonium hydroxide. And in the second group the solubility product the concentration of the sulfide ion is decreased by using the HCl. So we make use of the common ion effect in the both these groups. And in the fifth group we have the calcium, barium and strontium ions. And in the sixth group we have the magnesium, sodium, ammonium and potassium ions. And here there is a in the fifth group the group reagent is ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide and ammonium carbonate. Fifth group cations are precipitated as their carbonates, and all these carbonates have the white color. First group chlorides are white color, second group sulfides have the different colors, and mainly second group sulfides have the white color. And here third group cations form the hydroxides, and these hydroxides have the different colors again. And the fourth group sulfides also have the different colors depending on the cation. And the fifth group cations form the only white color precipitate. So that white color precipitate may be calcium carbonate, barium carbonate or strontium carbonate. And in the sixth group, magnesium ion, sodium ion, ammonium and potassium ion are included, and there is no particular reagent. So each cation has to be tested separately. So here for them here we call confirmatory test only. Here in the case of this group we don't call identification test, directly we call them as the confirmation test, because each group has its own test. Now we go for the flow chart of the group 1. This flow chart tells about the principles or the main principle or the main idea that is there behind the identification of the first group cations. In this method, what we have to do means we have to take the original solution and we have to add the dilute HCl. So all the first group cations form the white precipitate only. Then after, what we have to do means we have to centrifuge that one, and we have to take the residue, that means precipitate, and we have to add the water and we have to heat. If the precipitate dissolves, we have to think that is lead chloride. And silver chloride and mercurous chloride do not dissolve in the hot water. So if the precipitate dissolves, that may be due to the presence of the lead chloride. That precipitate is the lead chloride. And if that white precipitate does not dissolve in the hot water, then that precipitate may be silver chloride or mercurous chloride. So to that white precipitate, if that white precipitate does not dissolve in the hot water, then after we have to add ammonium hydroxide solution. And we know very well that ammonium silver chloride dissolves in the ammonia solution. So and if you get a gray color precipitate, we have to think that white precipitate contains the mercurous chloride. So like that we have to take and we have to move further. So after identifying whether the cation, the first group cation is Pb plus 2 or Ag plus or mercurous ion, we have to go for the confirmation test related to those cations. Now we go for the confirmation test of the lead ions. Here lead and silver, both are identified, confirmed by using the potassium chromate and potassium iodide solutions. So lead forms the yellow color precipitate due to the addition of the potassium chromate and due to the addition of the potassium iodide, whereas the silver forms red color precipitate with the silver chromate and yellow color precipitate with the potassium iodide. So that's the difference you have to remember. Lead forms yellow color precipitate with the potassium chromate, silver forms red color precipitate with the potassium chromate. Red color, yellow color. And the yellow color precipitate formed by the lead dissolves in the sodium hydroxide. That confirms the presence of the lead in the given salt mixture. Then we discuss about here the potassium iodide test related to the lead. So here we get the yellow color precipitate, no? So on heating, this yellow color precipitate dissolves. This lead iodide dissolves on heating, and again on cooling we get the yellow color precipitate, or sometimes we get the gold color flakes. That is very beautiful to see. Okay na? So the formation of the yellow color precipitate again or gold color flakes confirms the presence of the lead in the given salt mixture. And silver halide does not react in that way, so it does not dissolve in the hot water. And we have to remember that silver chloride is a white color precipitate, silver bromide is a pale yellow color precipitate, and silver iodide is a yellow color precipitate. The silver iodide again does not dissolve in the ammonia solution. Here silver chloride completely dissolves, silver bromide sparingly dissolves, and silver iodide does not dissolve at all. That point we have to remember. And compared to the silver chloride and silver bromide, silver iodide is more covalent in nature, and as the covalent nature increases, color also develops. Silver chloride is white in color, silver bromide is pale yellow, has the pale yellow color, and silver iodide has the yellow color. So as the covalent nature increases, color also increases. Next we go for the discussion about the conformation test of the mercurous ions. So we are to dissolve the gray color or black color precipitate in the aqua regia by adding 4 drops of aqua regia. We know very well that what is the aqua regia. Aqua regia is a mixture of the nitric acid and hydrochloric acid. Nitric acid and hydrochloric acid. So this when aqua regia is added to the gray color mercury, then that changes into the mercuric chloride. So aqua regia changes gray color mercury into the mercuric chloride, and the presence of the mercuric ion is identified by using the stannous chloride SnCl2 and copper Turnings test. So we have to take the clear solution formed due to the addition of the aqua regia, and we have to make into the 2 parts. To the one part we have to add the stannous chloride, and we know very well that stannous chloride is a good reducing agent. So in the beginning it reduces mercuric chloride to the mercurous chloride. Mercurous chloride is a white precipitate, that we know very well. And then after this mercurous chloride again further reduced to the mercury. Here we get the mercury in the form of the black color mercury. Here we don't get the silver like mercury, here we get the black color mercury. And here we have to remember that the color of the substance depends on the size of the particles present in them. So here we get the mercury in the black color. And one more test is, that is the copper turning test. So the clear solution obtained due to the addition of the aqua regia, we have to add the copper pieces. So here mercury changes into the gray color precipitate again, that is mercury, and we get the copper changes into the cupric chloride. So here copper displaces, this is a displacement reaction. So copper displaces the mercury from the mercuric chloride. So this is the conformation test for the mercury. Next we go for the flow chart of the group 2. So if we don't get any precipitate due to the addition of the HCl to the original solution, then we should not throw that one, we have to pass H2S gas into that one. And if we get the precipitate in the first group analysis, then we have to centrifuge that precipitate, we have to centrifuge and we have to separate the precipitate, and we have to take the filtrate or centrifugate. We have to take the filtrate and centrifugate for the analysis of the second group cations. So we have to pass H2S gas into the centrifugate if we get the precipitate in the first group, or otherwise we have to take original solution and we have to pass H2S if we don't get the precipitate in the first group. So if any first group cations are present, then we get the precipitate. So already we have studied that which cations have the which color, no? So if we get the precipitate, we have to centrifugate and we have to separate the residue, and we have to take the filtrate or centrifugate for the other group analysis, and that residue should be dissolved in the yellow ammonium sulfide. So by centrifuge, after centrifugating, we have to take the precipitate, and we have to add the yellow ammonium sulfide. Okay na? So if sometimes what is that, precipitate may dissolve or sometimes it may not dissolve. So if the precipitate dissolves, we have to think that that second group cations belong to the second B group, and if that precipitate does not dissolve, we have to think that the salt mixture contains the second A group cations. Second A group cations are mercuric ion, Pb+2, bismuth, and Cd+2 ions. So then if the precipitate does not dissolve in the yellow ammonium sulfate, what we have to do means we have to boil the residue with 50% HNO3, and if that precipitate contains mercuric ions, then that does not dissolve in this HNO3 solution. And if that precipitate contains lead or bismuth or cadmium ions, then that goes into the solution in the form of the nitrates, lead nitrate or bismuth nitrate or cadmium nitrate. After that, what we have to do means we have to go for the separate test for the already we have discussed about the confirmation tests related to the mercuric ions, so that is separate thing. And here if it dissolves in the nitric acid, then what we have to do means we have to add few drops of dilute H2SO4 and little alcohol. So after doing like this, if we get white precipitate, we have to think that the second group cation that is present in the salt mixture is Pb+2 ion, and if we don't get any precipitate, we have to think that the second group cation that present in the given salt mixture may be Bi+3, bismuth+3 or cadmium+2 ions. And if we get bismuth or cadmium+2 ion, then what we have to do means we have to add alcohol, boil of the alcohol. That means we have to heat and we have to remove the alcohol, and we have to add the ammonium hydroxide. If the salt mixture contains bismuth+3 ion, then we get the white color precipitate, and if it contains cadmium+2 ions, we get a colorless solution, and again we have to pass H2S gas into that one. On passing H2S, we get the yellow color PPT. Again we move again to the first start. Look here, if the precipitate dissolves in the yellow ammonium sulfide solution, then we have to take the clear solution and we have to treat with the dilute acid. That means you have to add the HCl solution. So if we don't get any precipitate, we have to reject that one, and if antimony Sb+3 ions are present, then we get the orange color precipitate due to the addition of HCl here. Okay na? That's all for the second group cations. So here what we have to do means, so to the original solution, first of all we have to add H2S gas. We have to pass H2S gas. There we get the sulfur as the precipitates. Depending on the cations, we get the different color sulfides. Then after we have to centrifuge that one. After centrifuging, we get precipitate, two parts, precipitate and the centrifugate or the filtrate. The precipitate is here called as the residue. So to that residue, we have to add the yellow ammonium sulfide. If the precipitate dissolves, we have to think that is second B group cation. And if the precipitate does not dissolve in the yellow ammonium sulfide, we have to think that the salt mixture contains second A group cations, second A group cations. So the yellow ammonium sulfate is useful in identifying whether the second group cation is second A group cation or second B group cation. So depending on that one, we have to move further and we have to identify which type of cation is present in the given salt mixture. Now we move on to the reactions related to the second group analysis. Here, look here, all these cations, mercuric ion, lead ion, bismuth ion, cupric ions form the sulfides as the precipitates. Then after, these are treated with the nitric acid. So when these are treated with nitric acid, they go into the solution in the form of nitrates. Here we have to remember one point, that all nitrates, almost all nitrates are soluble in water. All nitrates are soluble in water. So that's why the sulfates are converted into the nitrites. So this clear solution that is obtained by dissolving in the nitric acid is taken for the confirmation tests. Here, the mercuric sulfide reacts with aqueous and forms mercuric nitrate. No, that mercuric nitrate is used for the identification or for the confirmation of the mercury. Already we have discussed these reactions in the first group. Now we move on to the other cations. Treatment with H2SO4. So after dissolving the nitric acid, we have to add the H2SO4. So if the salt mixture contains lead ions, then we get the white precipitate, that is the lead sulfate, and that lead sulfate dissolves in the ammonium acetate. So that the dissolution of the white color precipitate in the ammonium sulfate confirms the presence of the lead ions. And already we have studied about the potassium iodide test and potassium chromate test related to the lead. Bismuth. Here, bismuth is tested by using the dilution test and sodium stannite test. So the bismuth hydroxide obtained is dissolved in the HCl and is converted into the bismuth chloride. To that bismuth chloride, we add the water. So due to the addition of water, bismuth chloride undergoes the hydrolysis and we get a white color precipitate, bismuthyl chloride, BiOCl, bismuthyl chloride, a white color precipitate. So that we have to remember. Another thing is the sodium stannite test. So we have to that bismuth hydroxide, we have to add the stannous chloride and NaOH solution. Due to that, what happens? The sodium stannite reduces the bismuth hydroxide to the bismuth. Yet we get the bismuth in the form of the black color. Next we go for the cadmium test. So cadmium belongs to the second B group cations. No? So this cadmium goes to the yellow ammonium sulfide. So we get this complex compound. So again we have to pass the H2S gas. So we get the yellow color precipitate that confirms the presence of the cadmium ions. So if you get the yellow color precipitate due to the addition of H2S, we have to subcentrifugate that one and we have to add the yellow ammonium sulfate. Then the precipitate dissolves in that one. And again we have to pass H2S. If you get yellow color precipitate again, we have to think that given salt mixture contains cadmium ions in it. One more test is there for the cadmium ions, that is the potassium ferrocyanide test. And the other one is the potassium cyanide test. So To this yellow color precipitate, what we have to do means we have to add HCl. When HCl is added, cadmium sulfide dissolves in the form of the cadmium chloride. And when potassium ferrocyanide is added to this is potassium ferrocyanide, we get the cadmium ferrocyanide. Cadmium ferrocyanide is a greenish white color precipitate. Greenish white color precipitate. And here it is a KCN test, potassium cyanide. So if potassium cyanide is added to the yellow, the solution obtained from the yellow ammonium sulfate, then we get the first of all a cyanide complex compound, and then after we get this tetracyanide, potassium tetracyano cadmium 2 complex, and again if you pass H2S, again we get the yellow color precipitate. So first to the solution obtained by adding the yellow ammonium sulfate, we have to add the KCl. After that we have to add the H2S. If we get the white color, yellow color precipitate, then we have to think that given salt mixture contains Cd+2 ions in it. Next, Sb antimonous ion, Sb+3 ions. So yellow color antimonious, orange color antimonium sulfate dissolves in the HCl, and we get the antimonous chloride. This antimonous chloride also undergoes hydrolysis, and we get the milky white precipitate. So that we have to remember, and we go for the group 3 cations. So here to watch the residue. So we know very well that the third group reagent is a mixture of the ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. No? So if we get the precipitate, any precipitate due to the addition of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide, then we have to centrifugate that one, and we have to take the residue for the use of the confirmation tests. And to that residue of the group 3, we have to wash that one with 1% of ammonium chloride, and we have to add a little amount of the Na2O, that is sodium peroxide, in small lots. And in small amounts we have to add the sodium peroxide, and we have to boil, and we have to cool, and after that we have to centrifuge that one. If we get the precipitate, a brown color precipitate, we have to think that given salt mixture contains ferric ions. Otherwise, if you don't get any precipitate, if you get clear solution, then we have to take that solution here. Okay, here is that. Okay, look here, my dear. So when sodium peroxide is added here, so if we may get yellow color, or we may get a colorless solution. The yellow color formation of yellow color solution indicates the presence of the Cr+3 ions, and the presence of a colorless solution indicates the presence of the Al+3 ions. So here 3 choices are there when sodium peroxide is added. We may get brown color precipitate, otherwise we may get a clear solution, or we may get a yellow color solution. Brown color precipitate, yellow color solution. Once again I read. So brown color precipitate, yellow color solution, colorless solution. Brown color precipitate indicates the presence of the ferric ions. Yellow color solution indicates the presence of the chromic ions, and colorless solution indicates the presence of the Al+3 ions. Now these are the equations related to the third group tests. Here ferric ion, chromic ion, and aluminum ion and manganese ion are precipitated as their hydroxides, and due to the addition of the sodium peroxide, what happens here? Chromic ion changes into the yellow color solution, and aluminum hydroxide, we get a white. Aluminum hydroxide is a white color precipitate, and if you add the excess of the NaOH, then what happens? You get a clear solution. We get a clear solution. Clear. Okay, next we go for the conformation test for the ferric ions and manganese ions. We get manganese ions in the fourth group also. So we have to take the precipitate and we have to add the HNO3. So that hydroxides convert into the nitrates, and to that ferric nitrate solution we have to add the potassium ferrocyanide, and here we get a deep blue color solution that is known as the Prussian blue. So ferric ferrocyanide is known as the Prussian blue. Ferric ferrocyanide, Fe4 FeCN6 taken 3. Ferric ferrocyanide is known as Prussian blue color. So here we get the Prussian blue color. Otherwise we have to add the KCNS, that means potassium thiocyanate. So here we get the white color, blood red color. Blood red color is also formed by the addition of the acetate ions also. So acetate ions as well as the potassium thiocyanate form the blood red color precipitate or blood coloration with the ferric ions. Next we move on to the conformation test for the Al+3 ions. So to the sodium meta-aluminate solution we have to add the ammonium chloride, and here we get the aluminium hydroxide, white color precipitate. So one more test is that is the Lake test. Lake test is very much similar to this only. So here that white precipitate has to be dissolved by adding HCl. So that white precipitate changes into the yellow aluminum chloride, and if you add ammonium hydroxide solution to that aluminum chloride solution, then we get the white gelatinous precipitate again. That is nothing but aluminum hydroxide. One more conformation test is that to confirm the aluminum ions, that is the aluminum test. So to that aluminum hydroxide precipitate we have to add the aluminon reagent. Aluminon is a ammonium salt of erwin tricarboxylic acid. This is erwin tricarboxylic acid. So this pigment or dye is observed on this white color precipitate, and due to the addition of this color we get a red coloration. So this is aluminum helps in the identification of the aluminium +3 ions. So we know very well that aluminum salts act as the mordants in the textile industry. Mordant means a substance that helps in fixing the dyes onto the clothes, are known as the mordants. So due to that nature only, here we can identify here the aluminum ions. Now we go for the flow chart of the group 4 ions. So in the what is that, if we get the precipitate in the third group we have to take the centrifugate, otherwise we have to take the clear solution and we have to pass the H2S gas, and if we get the precipitate we have to centrifuge that one and we have to take the residue out, and if we don't get any precipitate we have to use that centrifugate for the fifth group analysis. So if we have to take we have to observe the color of the precipitate here. If we get a fresh color precipitate we have to think that the given salt mixture contains Mn+2 ions, and if we get the white color precipitate we have to think that the given salt mixture contains the Zn+2 ions. So the conformation test for the zinc+2 ions is very much similar to the conformation test of the aluminum ions. So we have to dissolve the precipitate by adding the dilute hydrochloric acid. So After addition of the dilute hydrochloric acid, the precipitate changes into the chlorides. So zinc also changes into the zinc chloride. Then after we have to add the zinc hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. So we get the white precipitate, that is zinc hydroxide. And if we add excess amount of the sodium hydroxide, that precipitate dissolves and we get the sodium zincate, a clear solution. So aluminum also behaves in the similar way. So both these ions form white color precipitate when small amounts of NaOH is added. And then after, whenever we add the excess of NaOH, those precipitate dissolve and form aluminates and zincates here. Aluminates and zincates. One more test is there for the zinc ions, that is the potassium ferrocyanide test. So whenever potassium ferrocyanide is added to the zinc chloride solution, we get a white color precipitate, that is zinc ferrocyanide. The manganese ions are identified by using the sodium hydroxide solution. We have to take the manganese chloride solution obtained by adding the HCl to the what is that, flesh color precipitate, and we have to add the NaOH. So due to the addition of NaOH, first of all we get the white color precipitate here. White color precipitate. That white color precipitate gradually undergoes oxidation and changes into the brown color precipitate. That brown color precipitate is nothing but manganese oxyhydroxide. So this reaction can be accelerated by the addition of the bromine. Bromine is a good oxidizing agent. So it fastens the reaction. So manganese hydroxide undergoes oxidation further and we get a brown color precipitate, that is known as the manganese oxyhydroxide. Now we go for the fifth group cations analysis. So if we don't get any precipitate in the fourth group, we have to remove the H2S by boiling it. Then after we have to add the ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide and ammonium carbonate. Okay na? So here if we get white precipitate, we have to think that the given salt mixture contains fifth group cations. Otherwise we have to move on to the analysis of the sixth group cations, that means magnesium, ammonium and other group cations. So here both magnesium, all the fifth group cations, barium, strontium and calcium form the white color precipitate. So here how we have to identify them means, first of all we have to centrifuge that one and we have to get the white precipitate, and we have to dissolve that white precipitate in the dilute acetic acid. After that we have to add the potassium chromate solution. So if we get yellow color precipitate, then we have to think that the given salt mixture contains barium ions in it, whereas the strontium and calcium ions do not form precipitate with the chromates. Strontium chromate and calcium chromate. Strontium chromate and calcium chromates are soluble salts. Strontium and calcium. Strontium chromate and calcium chromates are soluble salts, whereas the barium chromate is a insoluble salt. So that we have to remember. So these are the chemical reactions involved in the identification of the fifth group cations. So here we get the carbonates. Here when the acetic acid is added, this dissolve in the form of the acetates. So barium ion conformation test. Now we go for the barium ion conformation test. barium ions are confirmed by using the Todigiana test, sodium Todigenate test. So here we get, after addition of the sodium Todigenate to the barium chloride solution, we get a reddish color precipitate, and strontium ions confirmation test. So to the strontium state solution, we have to add the ammonium sulfate. So we get here white color precipitate. The presence of the white color, formation of the white color precipitate indicates the presence of strontium as well as the calcium ions. In the flame test, the strontium ions give the crimson red color, and that we have to remember. And calcium ions gives the ammonium oxalate test. So when the ammonium oxalate is added, we get a insoluble white color precipitate, that is calcium oxalate, whereas the strontium oxalate and barium oxalate are soluble salts. Calcium oxalate is an insoluble salt, that we have to remember. Ammonium. Next we go for the ammonium ion test. Ammonium ion is identified by using the Nessler's reagent. Nessler's reagent is K2HgI4. So when K2HgI4 is added to the ammonia solution, we get a reddish brown color precipitate in the form of the small powder. That is very interesting. So we have to remember. Yes. This is the one more test for the ammonium ion. So we have to take the test salt mixture solution and we have to add NaOH and we have to heat. If we get the pungent smell gas, then we have to think that the given salt mixture contains ammonium ions in it. So if we keep a glass rod dipped in the HCl on the mouth of the test tube, then here we will get a dark white fumes. That is due to the formation of the ammonium chloride. So the ammonia gas released here reacts with the HCl and forms white fumes, dark white fumes, that is ammonium chloride. And we go for the confirmation test for the ammonium ion. So magnesium ion. Magnesium ions can be identified by using the ammonium phosphate. So here we get a white color precipitate, that is known as the magnesium ammonium phosphate. So like that we can perform the different tests to identify the presence of the different cations. Thank you.